東京六本木 nca 日動コンテンポラリーアート。ここで世界的アーティストの展覧会が開かれている。ブラジル出身のアーティストビック・ムニーズ。巨匠の名画や写真をジャムやピーナッツバター、トマトソースなど身近にあるものを素材にして再現。それを写真に収めることで作品に。ゴミ集積所で暮らす地元住民たちと共にゴミを素材にした作品を制作。その制作過程に密着した映画はアカデミー賞長編ドキュメンタリー部門にノミネートされた。リオデジャネイロパラリンピックではアーティスティックディレクターとして開会式にも参加。そんな世界に名を馳せるビッグ・ムニーズが手掛ける新作。展覧会のタイトルは「Gibi」。コミックを意味するポルトガル語。描いているのはディズニーの有名キャラクターたちで再現したアーティスト、コレクター、ギャラリストなどの7つのアートシーン。作品に使われている素材はビッグが幼い頃読んでいたコミックを細かく切ったもの。実はディズニーが創立100周年を記念してビッグをはじめ100名の著名アーティストに作品制作を依頼したのだという。
Always wanted to work with Disney. I've been, it's a little bit an obsession of mine since I was a child. When I grew up, and I grew up in a poor section of the city, in a place that didn't have any libraries, or at the time we didn't have internet, or a place where you could just go and read. So to the outside world was the newsstand. And in the newsstand, you had, comic books. It's like, most of them were by Walt Disney. All the themes deal with the idea of art. One in particular, the theft of the artworks is a piece in the exhibition that's over there. I remember as a 6-year-old boy, it was the first time I heard somebody mention a museum. And when I was reading, I didn't know what these things were, the artworks in the museum were. Because it was just drawings, and I didn't know really how to do it. It took me a while to understand what a museum was, because until then, I had never been to a museum. Little did I know that later I would be showing works in museums, and this loop, going back in time and thinking about the first time I heard something mention a museum, is quite interesting. You see, Disney was somebody very interesting for two reasons. One, he was obviously a gifted person, somebody of intellectual relevance. I'm not really, it's not little to say that I always thought that Disney is perhaps the biggest contribution of America to the culture, to the general culture, to world's culture. I think, I don't think, since I started working as an artist, people always ask, what's your favorite American artist? I never say Jackson Pollock or I always say Walt Disney, because I sincerely think that Disney is that important. He managed to put his ideas through to a very, very wide public. I always, and I think as an artist, I try to nourish myself with that kind of ambition that for your work to be relevant, it has to speak to a very wide public. It cannot just speak to people in the art world. So when I'm making an exhibition in a gallery or in a museum, I try to communicate with the curator, the director, but also with the people who are responsible for cleaning or security. Everybody has to get something out of it. And Disney is perhaps the best example of how an artist can be that ambitious.
そして実はこの展覧会の仕掛け人はビッグ・ムニーズの古くからの友人でもある日本を代表するアートアドバイザー塩原正氏。
It's funny. I don't remember when we met. It looked like I know Shobara-san forever. Because we've done so many things together. He came so many times to Brazil, and Masashi is my connection to Japan. It's always, there is no Japan without him. It's how I immediately I think of Japan, I think of him. It doesn't come separate. It's just like a kind of an ambassador of some sort. But also he represents the Japan that I like. That we connect in a number of different ways, with humor. With very casual about things. If I can, I don't know, maybe I have a wrong idea of how Japanese people are because of Masashi, because he's so casual. But it's been always good and very, coming to Japan never felt like, and also through art, because that's what he does. That's what, and we work on. Together, and we managed to build an understanding of my work here in Japan, work only. And I think Shobara-san is partly responsible by that. Also, I tend to work with people that I have a personal relationship with. I don't like working for a gallery that's too big, that I speak always with a different person, so the studio has an interface with the gallery that is for practical things, but I have to have one person that I talk to. And with this person, you can strategize things, because this person knows the place, knows the culture, knows the clients, and then you can talk, you have a sense of what to do next or in the long term. So I tend, I'm maybe an old-fashioned type of artist. I don't really care about having a big-name gallery or that, and I prefer to have a relationship to everybody I work with, because it makes everything more meaningful. And Masashi is one of these friends. It's the best friend I have here in Japan. And always have a lot of fun together. That is that's another thing. It's just, it's beyond work, and art making. It's always a lot of fun to be with somebody with a culture that's so different than mine.
Thank you. ビッグっていうともう湧き出るアイデアがあるんですよ。もう止まらないなんていうんですかね、止まらないアイデア、すごいアイデアがたくさんあって、それに対する対象に対する研究探求心と、それからその洞察力で、それだけでは作品できないじゃないですか。それを作品化する実行力っていうんですか、これがあるアーティスト、もうこれはもうビッグに並ぶ人はいないんじゃないかなって僕は思ってて、でその写真っていうのは被写体がなければいけないんですけれども、その被写体になるものの探し方とか、それの作り方とか、ものすごい実は時間をかけてるんですね。でそれを作っていくのに際して多くの人を巻き込める力があるんですよ。それは彼の人柄であり、彼の発想力、想像力だと僕は思ってるんですけれども、一つの作品だとブラジルのゴミ集積所にいる人たちを巻き込んだりとか、それから作品の中に有名なサッカー選手が出てきたりとか、それから脳科学者の人たちと仕事をしたりとか、科学者の MIT の科学者の人たちと一緒に仕事をしたりとか、宇宙科学者とかですね、天文学者たちとも仕事ができる、彼の仕事ができる相手の幅っていうのがものすごく大きくて、その人たちと一緒に作品を作って、その作品として実現できる、その実行力っていうのは僕は見ていていつも驚かせるものですね。Did I understand?
Yeah, I think I always think that my parents didn't set foot in a gallery or a museum until I had a show in one of these places. So I'm very conscious, mindful of the fact that people who can enter the door of a gallery comfortably, with confidence, and have a one-to-one relationship or moment with a work of art that is meaningful, it's a very small, dismally small percentage of the population. Contemporary art is very important, in a way that it unsettles your concept of reality. It shakes it a little bit, takes you out of the comfort zone. Art doesn't necessarily have to be shocking or unsettling, but it helps you calibrate somehow your relationship to reality or to your relationship to images. So it should be something a lot simpler, a lot more available, and a lot better distributed, than what we have. So when I make art, I'm always very conscious of the fact that people may enter the artwork through different layers. So it's like The Simpsons. There's some jokes when you watch Simpsons that you need to be like a Harvard graduate to English graduate to laugh about them. But then a 5-year-old laughs at something else. That's right after it. So I think you don't have to make art that's either easy, simple, available, or intelligent and well-informed. You could do both simultaneously, and that's the challenge.
そんなビッグ・ムニーズが手掛けた新作は6月3日まで六本木 nca 日動コンテンポラリーアートで見ることができる。ジ・アートハウス、そのアートは100年後に残せるか。